everyone, it's Michelle from Royal River Art. I just kind of wanted to share an experience that I had. I originally wasn't going to say anything or mention it until I basically got harassed by the Etsy store that I bought these molds from. I bought these molds and they came in individual packages. As soon as I took it out, the first one that I opened was this one. And I noticed right away, and it's gonna be really hard to show you guys on film, but I don't know if you can see this like smudge almost. First, they're very, very, very thin. You can see right through them. But, you know, that should still be fine for resin. But I don't know if you can see that smudge. But I showed my husband right away because even though I may be a beginner at the bloom technique for resin, I've used molds a lot. And I know already that they should be shiny if you're gonna get a shiny result. So I knew pretty much right away that that smudge would show up in the resin art. So I showed my husband and I did a pour in that one. I opened up the other ones and they all have some sort of a smudge in them, and I really wish you guys could see. I don't know if you can. And this one's really big, so I don't know. See if you can see the smudge or not. Hopefully you can. Anyways, so I initially just did a pour in this one mold, and sure enough, in the artwork it had that like dull spot because of the smudge. I took a picture of it, I emailed the company, and before I purchased, just so you know, I researched the shop on Etsy, and that's where I bought them from. They had really, really good reviews, so I thought, you know, it was worth the risk. They're not extremely expensive, but they're not the cheapest molds either. So I contacted them, and right off the bat they told me that I was the only one who has ever said anything about their molds, and that they're handmade, so there's going to be some imperfections to it, but with that being said, they would be willing to try to help me. Then they said that the industry standard is that once you pour in the mold, it is no longer their responsibility, and then asked if I had poured in all three. I told them I had only poured in the one, but the other molds had the same defect in it. They then requested that I pour and do a resin and then take pictures of my artwork after I poured in it, which at that point I basically didn't want to deal with them anymore, because they were then, you know, if I had done that, then they would have, according to their industry standards, would not been responsible for the mold. And being that they were already telling me that it was, you know, I was the only one that has ever said anything or had a problem, and then they stated that information. The other thing that they said was that, you know, I could do a top coat on my finished pieces. You know what? That's great. That is a wonderful way to correct some of the imperfections that you might have on top of your artwork. But considering these were new molds and had never been used at that time, I shouldn't have to correct the mistake from the mold, in my opinion. So I decided to part ways. I did leave a review. I was not nasty, but it was not a shining review by any means. But I just said that, you know, the customer service wasn't really willing to help, and that the molds had defects. They then decided to harass me through messages. And in their response to my review, they said that I probably used the wrong resin. I'm not sure what that comment really meant. It kind of irritated me. I don't know what the wrong resin would be. This is the resin that I use. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's epoxy resin. My issue with that comment of theirs is that if these molds are supposed to be used with a very specific resin, say like a fast cure resin, then that should be stated in their product description, which it is not. But I really don't know what that comment really means. I don't know what the wrong resin would be, especially since these are resin molds. Anyhow, I have poured. You've seen me do a video in this one. I mean, they're still nice, and I can, you know, put the top coat, clear top coat on, and it does correct the weird, funky defect that it is in the molds. I just feel like I shouldn't have had to do that right away. The fact that they said up front that it was, you know, like my fault, and then their industry standards, and then they wanted me to pour into it, therefore, you know, that would canceled out their responsibility. And then on top of it, they were harassing me. It got so bad through the messages that I had to literally state that I no longer wanted them to contact me. So far that has worked. Hopefully it will continue to work. But I just wanted everyone to know that even if a shop, no matter where, you know, eBay or Etsy, even if someone has good reviews, is supposed to be a top selling shop, you may get this kind of workmanship. I think part of it was that I was not afraid to say that I was not pleased with what I got. Therefore, they did not like that. And yet they were still not willing to help me or to make it right. They just verbally attacked me. So just beware, everyone. You know, you're not always going to get the best of things. I'd like to say you get, you know, what you pay for. These were, like I said, they were not extremely cheap. They weren't the most expensive, but I was still expecting more and better customer service. I hope this video helps you guys, and happy shopping and happy blooming. If you have any questions, please email me. I'd be happy to answer them if you do want more information. But I'm not going to be nasty or anything. I'm not going to try and state who the shop was, but I just wanted everyone to be aware that you're not always going to get the best service or the best quality of molds. So just be careful out there. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.